So perhaps the hardest question when going grocery shopping is, should I spend that extra dollar for the organic alternative, or should I save my dollar and just buy the conventional food? I mean, these two bananas look exactly the same, don't they? The difference is that this banana's organic and this one's different. So the term organic refers to how the food's grown. According to a Mayo Clinic article, which was retrieved on October 22nd and last updated in 2014, the term organic refers to how a food's grown. Organic food is grown with no pesticides, with no growth hormones, and with no antibiotics. So during this speech, I'm going to inform y'all how eating non-organic food is causing antibiotic resistance, how it's causing an overall dirty environment, and how it's making our diet toxic. So the first point I'm going to make is how farm animals are frequently fed antibiotics. According to a PBS Frontline video, which was viewed last month, and last updated in 2014, that 30% of the total antibiotics consumed every year is consumed by humans. So that means the majority of antibiotics consumed are by animals. According to a Princeton article, which was viewed on October 22nd and last updated at an unknown date, antibiotics are given to farm animals to prevent disease and to stimulate growth. And so they're given continuously to farm animals to prevent the outbreak of a disease in a certain population of farm animals. And so we know that when we take antibiotics, we're not supposed to take them unless we're sick. So this is kind of an obvious thing, like that shouldn't be happening, and that's causing this antibiotic resistance. So the animals that are given antibiotics are also given the same antibiotics as humans. And so them being used that widespread and then also being used for us, it's just being used too much. And antibiotic resistance is basically any bacteria that's no longer responds to a certain antibiotic. And so this is kind of a huge topic in the medical community because let's say you have antibiotic-resistant infection, doctors don't really know how to treat it anymore. And so this causes serious health problems and can actually cause death. According to a CNN article, which was viewed on October 22nd and updated in 2012, there was a study done and there was a 33% greater risk of getting an antibiotic-resistant bacteria infection from pork and chicken that wasn't organic. So basically, the study took swabs from different chicken and pork in just grocery stores around the country, and 33% more people got an antibiotic-resistant bacteria than did from non-organic food. According to Prescott's microbiology textbook, which was updated in 2014, basically, more drugs used for a certain bacteria, the more likely it's going to become resistant. So, my next point is going to be how growing organic food can make it for a cleaner environment. According to the same Princeton article, 1% of the total pesticides used actually reach their target pests. So it reaches the pest that it's trying to kill in a certain crop. So that means that the other 99% of pesticides are released out into the environment and could go anywhere like soil, lakes, surrounding neighborhoods, just really anywhere. Because it affects these surrounding environments, it travels up the food chain. So let's say that a lake is contaminated with a pesticide and something's swimming in the water. So anything that eats something that's swimming in the water and then eats that animal, basically the pesticide just travels up the food chain. It's just contaminating all of our ecosystem. So by growing food organically, there's no pesticides used. So that overall helps our environment with no pesticide residue. As pests develop resistances to these pesticides, much like the bacteria are developing antibiotic resistant, the pesticide has to become stronger. So when it's made not as dilute as it was before. It's also being used more commonly. According to the same Princeton article, there's 700 million pounds of pesticides released into the environment every single year. And 30 years ago, this number was cut in half. And so pesticides are just being used more commonly and at a stronger dilution rate. But the last point I'm going to make is how pesticides not being in our diet would actually cause our diet to be cleaner and healthier. According to a CNN study, urine in children was taken and sampled for the pesticide content in their urine, and so the kids who ate organic food had less pesticide in their urine than kids who ate non-organic food. And so basically, children who are eating these foods that had the pesticides in them are just having more contamination. It's kind of unknown still how that's going to affect children, but they do know that it affects children more than adults just because they're smaller. There's also a strong correlation between a lot of different cancers like Hodgkin's disease and pesticide use. According to that same Princeton article, 14 million Americans in the northeastern United States drink contaminated drinking water every day. And so just think about the northeastern United States, 14 million people, and then think about the whole country, how many people are drinking contaminated drinking water every single day. It's kind of still unknown how this drinking water is affecting everyone, like the long-term health things we're causing bad health. And so it's still being researched how this is going to affect us. So obviously it's going to take a few years, but a lot of times the long-term effects are much more devastating than you would think they would be. So in conclusion, spending that extra dollar at the grocery store really could cause health benefits and environmental benefits that you didn't really know of. And because of increasing antibiotic resistance, a dirty environment, and toxicity in your diet, it's becoming increasingly more important to know what you're ingesting every single day. Thank you.